I wake up and count my blessings. No more worries, no more stressing. With every loss there comes a lesson. Lord, all I'm asking is protection. I wake up and count my blessings.
Greetings, my sis. Translation: hello, everyone, and welcome to Conversations with me, a random nobody. Before I start this conversation this week, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone that checked out my last episode with All Star. That episode is pulling in some very good numbers, so shout out to everyone who has listened, who shared the episode with someone, and who listened to it more than once. It was a lot of good information in there, and it was really encouraging to see someone go through that for 17 years and to come out and be on top of the world. Literally. So once again, if you haven't checked out that episode, it's episode 18 and it's called My Turn, a conversation with Kevin All-Star Thompson. Check it out. All right, so let's get into what we're talking about today. Well, what I'm talking about today. And normally I laugh at myself because I always try to do some suspenseful lead in to what I'll be talking about, knowing damn well the episode title explains everything. And if you're savvy enough, you've already looked at the show notes. So it's like, what's the point of trying to, reveal the topic? So I'm not going to do that anymore. Well, I'm going to try not to do it because it's kind of cool, but whatever. All right, guys, let's jump right into this. We're going to start with a health check. How are you guys doing health-wise? I know it's January and everyone has made resolutions. Actually, I didn't make resolutions this year because I'm just holding on to the ones that I had from last year. COVID showed up and kind of, put a damper on things. I quit my gym membership in maybe June, so I haven't been to the gym in a very long time. But for those that did make resolutions, are you still holding on to them? How's that going? And if you fell off the wagon, that's perfectly fine. Just remember to hop right back on. Well, as for me and my health check, I'll share it with you guys, because my podcast, you're listening, whatever. So here it goes. Back in 2012, I started a fitness journey, a health journey, whatever it's called these days, in hopes to lose weight. So I started out back in 2012 and I went to the gym every day. I thought I was eating healthy. And at the end of the year, I ended up losing 1 pound total. Right? So I knew that there was something that I was doing wrong. And when it came down to it, it was my eating. I wasn't eating properly. I thought I was eating good, buying those 100-calorie snacks and buying the fat-free versions of products. However, after watching a couple documentaries on Netflix, which I'll add in the show notes, if I remember, my life literally changed before my eyes. I adapted to a cleaner way of eating. And also, I eliminated meat from my diet. And that was back in 2012. Fast forward to 2020, I still don't consume meat. However, I labeled myself as vegan-ish. 2 years ago, I was straight vegan. As time progressed, you backslide a little bit, and that's okay. You could backslide a little bit, just a little bit, right? And, I have been consuming more dairy than normal. And that's okay. I'm not beating myself up. I'm not upset about it. However, I know that when I was not consuming dairy and eating healthy, 100%, 95%, I know how my body felt. I know how my mind felt. And that's what I'm striving to get back to. So as far as my health check goes, while I don't suffer from ailments that plague this country, I do want to get a grasp and more control over my eating. If I rewind maybe 4 years ago, you could find me in my car eating Dunkin' Donuts, buffalo wings, French fries, pizza, all within the same hour. Because once I get a craving for something, it's like I have to have it. So I do that and then run to Walmart and get a laxative, which is so unhealthy, guys. And if you do that, I'm not judging you. I just pray and hope that one day your light bulb will come on just as mine came on. So I would consume all this junk food and then don't want it in my system. So I'll take the laxative and you know what happens after that. As of today, I would not do that. If I eat too much, then it's just going to have to come out on its own, and I'll just have to put on whatever weight comes from it, because I realized that I was using that as an escape, as to justify why it was okay if I consumed all that food, because I can just take a laxative and get rid of it. However, that's just not right, because imagine if I was still doing that 4 years later. I couldn't even imagine what it would do to my body. But anyway, I've learned how to take back that power from food, because food is a drug, guys. And I know some people don't think it is, but sugar is a drug, and overall food is a drug. A lot of our events and a lot of our happenings in life, food is the main event. So for me, having control over how much food I consume and what types of food I consume is so important to me. And over the years, I've gotten a whole lot better. However, it's not 100%, which brings me to why I'm having this health check, because I've come to a place in my life where I'm good. Like, I'm happy. I know who I am. I love who I am. I'm not perfect, and my life is not perfect. However, I'm appreciative of where I am and where I'm going. So I don't want to focus and harp on eating badly. Like, I want to live my life and live it freely so that I won't be stressing over unnecessary things, taking laxatives every other day. It's just not cool, and it's just not where I want to be anymore. So I label myself vegan-ish, right? So I do not consume meats. And this is where the ish comes in, because every once in a while I do find myself consuming dairy. And I know that there are vegan alternatives, but sometimes a sister just don't care. And I found myself struggling to be 100% vegan. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to stress about this anymore. I'm going to eat what I want when I want to eat it, because some things just cannot be replaced, honey. So with all that being said, I find myself today in a predicament where I have been more lackadaisy with my eating, and I think I've been a little too lackadaisy. But the important thing for me is that I've realized that, and I can make a change. So what I decided to do is a 3-day juice cleanse. Today is actually day 2 of my 3-day juice cleanse, and I'm not following anyone's plan in particular. This is just something that I knew I could accomplish, and have been drinking basically some green juices, which consist of apples, celery, cucumbers, and kale. And basically that's it. Tomorrow I'll make pineapple, oranges, lemon, and kale. That's called Sunburst, and I found that recipe on YouTube. If I remember, I'll include it in the show notes, guys. I don't think I'm going to remember, but that juice is so delicious. So anyway, I decided to do a 3-day juice cleanse because I know that 3 days is attainable, and I've done like 21 days before, or 14 days juice fast. And of course you lose weight and you look thinner and you feel better. However, it also resets my mind and allows me to appreciate food, healthy food, the foods that I need to be consuming. And it always gets me back into the right mind frame. So that's why I'm doing it. And today's day 2, tomorrow's day 3, and I cannot wait until day 4 because I can actually eat, guys. I already know the salad that I'm gonna make. It's been a cool ride so far. Today has been a little hard. I've been just low energy, and I didn't exercise or anything, and I won't exercise tomorrow because I just don't have the energy. I'm not hungry. I was talking to a friend earlier, and she called me, she FaceTimed me, and we were talking, and I looked horrible. And she's like, why do you look like that? And I told her I was doing the juice cleanse. So she was like, oh, so you're hungry. And I was like, nah, I'm not even hungry. I'm just weak. Like, I don't have the energy to sit up and, do things, which is understandable because I'm only consuming juices. And at the end of business tomorrow, I will be in the right mind frame to take that control and power back that I gave to cheese and dairy and sour cream and Chipotle. It's all good. It's all good. As I say these words, I don't even crave them. So I know that it's working. And if you guys have ever done a juice fast or anything like that, please let me know your results and how often you do it. Because what I'm going to talk about next, which is the I Am Surviving Vegan 10-day detox challenge. I don't even know if I said that correctly, but I'm not even going to go back and try to say it again. Just don't have the energy, guys. Just don't have the energy. Anyway, it's a 10-day detox program, which you have to purchase, of course, and you can find, I'll actually include the link in the show notes as well. And it's not for the faint at heart. I'm just going to say that. And I am actually going to attempt this detox probably next week. I really have to get my mind into it because this is not like drink green smoothies with fruits and veggies. This is some hardcore drinking lime shots type of thing. So I have to get ready mentally, and then physically we'll fall into line and it'll all work together for the good of those that love the Lord. Like, how did I even get the Bible in here today? Go me. Anyway, guys, if you have ever heard of that detox, I Am Surviving Vegan 10-day detox challenge. I still don't think I'm saying that correctly. Let me know as well, because I'm going to be sending out messages to a lot of my girlfriends and even some of my guy friends to see if you want to hop on for the ride. And I'm reaching out to a lot of people because I know that everyone's not going to survive this. Like, it's crazy, but it is attainable. There are people that have completely successfully done this challenge. I don't even think that made sense. Who have successfully completed this challenge. See, the brain is just not working right, guys. It's just not working right. So yeah, you can actually go on YouTube and search Surviving Vegan Detox Challenge and check out some of the results and the reviews that people gave after they tried it. There was one video that I watched that homegirl was like, nah, I need some chips and guac. And I appreciated that because, she was real and she said, this is not for everyone. So like I said, I'm going to be reaching out to some of my friends to see if they want to join me with the challenge. And I know everyone's not going to agree and try, but I need some help. I'm going to need some accountability, and I'm going to need some partners out there who's going to struggle with me through this detox. And understand that sometimes we want things in life, but we're not willing to put in that work. So as I sit here and contemplate, doing this detox challenge, I have to realize that if I have to consume a disgusting drink, it'll take me maybe 30 seconds to down it, right? So if you kind of look at it like that, you'll realize that it's over before you know it. And I know 10 days is a long time, but one thing that I'm going to do going into this challenge is look at every day as it's the first day. So I'm not going to be counting each day. I'm going to be like, all right, day one, just to keep my mind in a place where this goal is attainable. And I will definitely keep you guys updated with the progress. And I'm looking forward to it because I'm not only doing it for weight loss. Yes, I want to lose some weight. Who doesn't? But it's more of cleaning out my body and cleansing it because I want it to be in a state where it can do what it's supposed to do. I want it to function at 100%. I want to be able to, when I eat food, it's nourishing my body. I want to be able to absorb all the nutrients and the minerals that my body needs, because that's important in life. And our well-being, not only physically, but mentally, both go hand in hand. So I'll also be incorporating meditation. So if you're not meditating, guys, take 5 minutes out of your day and just sit quietly and breathe in and breathe out. 5 minutes. I'm telling you, it'll change your life. The last thing on my agenda for this episode was to talk about my son's recent run-in with the popo. Now, I tried to get him to come on to talk with me about it, but he didn't want to, just like Trishelle didn't want to. And she shouted me out because, actually she put me on blast because I literally forced her to come on the podcast. I'm not going to force him, but I am going to ask him one more time. So let's see what he says. All right, guys. So I was able to finagle my son to join me for a couple minutes. And I'm just going to give a quick synopsis of what happened because, teenagers, they really don't want to talk and he really doesn't want to be here anyway. So the other day I'm leaving physical therapy and I get a text message saying, "The police is talking to your son. I hope everything's okay." Immediately I pick up my phone and I'm like, oh my goodness. So I call my son and I'm like, wait a minute. If he's with the police, I don't want him reaching for anything. So I immediately hung up and headed home. On my way home, my son calls me and I'm like, what's going on? What happened? He proceeds to tell me that he was pulled over and blah, 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 but everything's okay and he's fine. However, and that was good. I was good with that. That made me feel a lot better. I responded to my neighbor and said, oh, he's good. All is well. So a little while later, I end up at his dad's house because that's where he was to pick up my other children. And he comes outside and he's looking at me all funny. And he's like laughing. And I'm like, what's so funny? And he said, well, are you going to call Ma, which is his grandmother? He's like, are you going to call Ma and tell her I got pulled over? I was like, for what? He's like, oh, you're not going to tell her I got handcuffed? I was like, wait, you got handcuffed? So he didn't really give me the full 100 of what happened over the phone. So as we sit here right now, I want to get inside his head and find out why. So Shavar, come a little closer to the mic, honey.
So the reason why I didn't tell you everything on the phone was because...
Well, first, can you just say hi to everybody?
Hello, everybody. Back to what I was saying. The reason why I didn't tell you everything over the phone was because when you called me and I answered it, you were yelling at me. You were interrogating me like you were the police.
Uh-huh.
And I said, I'm going to just tell her this whenever I see her because...
Okay, so when you did see me, which was like maybe 20 minutes later, you then told me what?
That I got handcuffed by the police.
What happened? Like, what happened? So
basically, I got off my exit because I was paying the bills for my dad that he needed me to do, whatever. So I'm on my way back home. I passed the gas station and I noticed that the police officer starts trailing me. And I'm like, what? I wasn't speeding. So I'm like, whatever. He's still trailing me. And as soon as I was about to turn into my community, that's when he flashes lights on. So I'm like, officer, you're going to have to come with me to my house because there's no way I'm parking in the middle of the community. Like the way it was set up is not working. So anyway, I'm over here stopping at all the stop signs, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, I hear the guy, the officer uses his horn to say, stop the car, pull off the car. Sir, I'm not doing that. Nah. So I'm getting over to the house. I park in the garage, and that's when he yells at me and tells me to get out the car. And I start getting out the car, and he grabs
I thought you said he pulled you out the car.
Yeah, listen, calm down. Stay over there. Anyway, he grabs my wrist, and he starts kind of yanking me out the car a little bit. And I said, he asked me why I didn't stop when he flashed his lights, and I told him I did not feel safe where you flash your lights, so therefore I drove all the way back to my house where I felt safe. And he then proceeded to say that doesn't matter and that it was a reasonable stop where I flashed the lights. And I said, officer, it wasn't, and I didn't feel safe over there. So therefore I was not stopping. And then he then proceeded to turn me around on my car and then handcuff me and then pull me over to the hood of his car. And we just started talking about why it wasn't.
So did he search your vehicle or anything like that?
No, ma'am. He did not do that. He does not have the right.
So you told me this in person, and what was my reaction?
You wanted to go to the police department. It's already over. I already got abused.
I told that boy, get in the car. We are going to the station. Why they pull him? Like, okay, pull him over, fine. But why them I pull out my picnic out of the car? Translation, they're pulling my child out of the car for what? So I was livid, absolutely livid, and wanted to talk to the police officer that did this. Why are you pulling him out the car, slamming him on the car, and handcuffing him?
Exactly. There was no reason to do all of that, and it was absurd.
Oh, please. Because when I said, let's go to the station, he's like, he didn't even slam me. It's fine. He didn't use unnecessary force.
Because he didn't. He did everything an officer is supposed to do, but I'm mad that he put the handcuffs on me because there was no point of putting handcuffs on me.
I thought the same thing as well until I spoke with you know who. I had to call somebody, guys, because I was, like I said, livid. I wanted to head to that station and rip this police officer a new one. Not literally, because then I'd be in jail. But you know what I mean. So tell me how it all ended then.
He just asked me for my license and my registrations. And he
registrations? You have more than one registration? Translation, do you have more than one registration?
Anyway, he asked me for my license and my registration, and I gave it to him, and he just said that my insurance or something was expired, and that's why he pulled me over. And I said, okay, thanks, officer. And he said, yeah, you're welcome. And I said, have a good one. And he said, you too. And I said, goodbye. And he left.
Wow. Okay, you sound very robotic. I don't know why. You're 18 and you should know how to carry on a normal conversation. However, I digress. Now, tell me overall how you felt about the experience. Has it traumatized you? Has it left a bad taste in your mouth? Or are you still okay with pursuing a career in law enforcement yourself?
That experience didn't do anything to me. I mean, in my opinion, I had the whole situation under control.
Whatever, you got slammed against a car.
I had the whole situation under control. I know exactly what I was doing, ladies and gentlemen. But it did not leave no bad taste in my mouth. I still want to pursue what I want to pursue. And that's it. He did not do nothing to me.
All right. Well, that's good to know because I was kind of overreacting just because of the climate that the world is in right now, guys. And I found myself, being that mom. So I had to call a friend and have them level me out. And after our conversation, hopefully you're listening. Shout out to you. I'm not going to say your name because you're not like that. You'll probably kill me. But thank you so much because you brought me from 100 to like 10. And I appreciate that. You were able to put things into perspective and allowed me to realize that if my son does not pull over for a police officer, the first thing that's going to go through their mind is, did he steal the car or is he hiding something? And the worst is once you get to this destination, your home, what do you have there that could possibly harm me? And when my son said that he didn't have a reason to put the handcuffs on him, after speaking with my friend, he also explained that, yeah, you do, because that police officer needs to make sure that they're safe, and they also need to make sure that you are safe. So I was happy that I was able to talk with my friend to bring me down and to realize that, no, I didn't need to go to this station because this situation played out the way that it was supposed to. Thank God. So is there anything else you want to leave with us today before we end this episode, Chev?
For the people, I just want to tell you guys just to pull over for the popo because fortunately I was very lucky. And that's it. Thank you for letting me be on your podcast.
You don't need to say that. Like, that's my part. Just get out. Goodbye.
I'm free.
Get out, boy. All right, guys. Well, that's all that I have for today. So you know the deal. Check me out on Instagram. Subscribe to the podcast. And before I leave, I'm going to ask that you please leave me a rating on Apple Podcasts. If you have an iPhone, I would greatly appreciate if you left me a review. So I thank you in advance, and until next time, what good? Translation, be safe.
Started from the bottom, look where we end up, on top like Pac, all eyes on us, blessings. No more worries, no more stressing. No more stress. With every loss there comes a lesson. Lord, all I'm asking is protection. Count my blessings. I wake up and count my blessings.